Foul ball finds the hole up the middle.
Steps up, goes deep left side. Receiver open, counting. Touchdown, Titans! Takes a nice shot outside the goal box, and he will break the 0-0 tie. Fantastic shot by Kenloff Solon.
Giller makes a move, a good one, opportunity here, the Bears score! The Bears strike first.
He's at the 40, he's down to the 30, the 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Jalen Bryan. Why not? What a beautiful run.
Maureen there, fights her off the puck, opportunity here, another sit, and a goal! Second chance effort for the Pioneers.
Put the icing on the cake, if you will, Mike. Let it go down and got to the outside and said good evening and good night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to White Bear Lake Stadium for tonight's Classic Suburban Championship matchup in Mixed Ultimate Frisbee as the Mahtomedi Mall travel to White Bear Lake Stadium to play the White Bear Lake Bears. Pleased to introduce tonight David Baker, who will be joining me alongside with me, Alex Westhead. David, how are we doing? First night on the mic for us.
First night. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Alex.
Well, we'll take a look here. We're going to talk about the weather now. Of course, last year was sunny and beautiful, 70 degrees. It's a little bit colder tonight here, David.
I gotta say, it's ideal weather for playing. Maybe not so much for watching. We got people bundled up here in the stands, but back when I was playing, this was the kind of weather I was hoping for. Not too windy, chilly, won't get you too hot. So.
Well, as we look to continue on here, we'll take a look at a couple of the special players here. We'll take a look first at White Bear Lake, Danny Powell. David, what do you look to see out of him?
What a player. He's the captain. Let's see what he was. He was all-conference 2016 and all-state second team as well. He's captain of White Bear Lake.
And as we take a look on the Mahtomedi side now, we'll take a look at 7 Austin Kelly, the Open A captain and 2016 all-conference last year. As a cutter, definitely a very experienced person the Zephyrs will look to go to tonight.
Number 29, Danny Powell.
And as we take a minute to get set here, as the starters are being announced here at White Bear Lake Stadium, Classic Suburban Championship, the 5th such matchup in the conference history, and the 4th meeting between White Bear Lake and Mahtomedi here, with White Bear Lake winning 3 and Mahtomedi winning 1. Now, David, we both of us played in the White Bear Lake system and have been around Mahtomedi before as we take a look at the results from the past 4 seasons. What do we come to expect with this Mahtomedi team?
Mahtomedi, they always come to play. They are strong with the spirit of the game. For folks that don't know, that's kind of the governing rules of Ultimate that players enforce themselves, and they're always high up in the sportsmanship category there. It's really fun to play them.
As you can see, last year the Bears victorious over the Hudson Frisbees by a final of 15-11. The Bears trailed in that game at the half 8-6 before going on a significant second half rally to pull away victorious in that one. As we get ready and get set to start this one underway, of course, for those not quite up to date with Ultimate, we take a look at the rankings here, and we see Mahtomedi coming in tonight at 9 and White Bear Lake at 13. Does that surprise you, David?
It does surprise me a little bit. I think White Bear had a little bit of a tougher schedule this year, so maybe get them higher up on the rankings, but that could just be my bias speaking.
Well, play will begin. 7 on the line for both sides. Not quite sure who will be pulling and who will be receiving on this first pull of the game. Now, David, for the inexperienced Ultimate watcher, what are the players doing on the lines here as they wait for that pull?
Well, they're talking about their strategy. They're deciding who is going to pull. It's not always necessarily the same person every time. The cutters are making sure they know who's going first, and the handlers are making sure they know what they need to do. They're making sure their jobs get done.
Now it looks like the Zephyrs, or the Mall rather, will have Frisbee in hand as we look to get that first pull off on this one. As the Mall will stand at their own line. They'll check for the wind, which for now is fairly quiet here at the stadium. And after long delay, 2 years since this last matchup with a pull, this one is underway.
That was a good pull there.
A good long pull caught on the run by Dahlhoff, and the offense can quickly get set here for White Bear Lake to the near side. Spins it up ahead as there's Kinseth Hicks. Hicks last year in this conference championship game had 4 points, all of which came in the first half, and really paced the offense here. As it gets chipped back, and then further up ahead to Dahlhoff on the near side, using the black lines, and a long deep pass up ahead, hammer throw, and play will continue as Powell gets the catch now. Powell quickly on the line, sends it to the corner. Nice, just a little bit, and he's able to get there as the Bears get on the scoreboard first. And Johnson breaks the 0-0 tie.
Bobbled that one a little bit, but he made up for it.
Now, as we take a look here, David, what do you think of this offensive strategy on the goal line for White Bear Lake?
That was textbook, I would say. Powell set there, made sure he knew he had an open man, and this man got it.
So an early 1-0 lead here for White Bear Lake as they come out strong. A impressive showing in their conference schedule, or their section regular season schedule rather, not to mention several other tournaments which they have, as we see the clock ticking down all the way up from 99. Of course, they do play until the sun goes down, not a problem here with the lights. But a impressive drive and no turnovers for White Bear Lake to start this game.
Yep. That was a nice quick scoring drive. They broke the cup there on the sideline and just got it up the field real quick there.
Now when you talk about that cup, what does that mean defensively?
The cup is kind of a zone defensive strategy. So you'll have usually three guys or ladies in this case, guarding the cutter who's got the disc, and then the other 4 are playing zone to block White Bears cutters or the opposing team's cutters.
Now a great pull that lands on the near side. It does fall out of bounds. And David, what does that mean?
When it goes out of bounds, you just take it in to the field where it went out of bounds, similar to soccer with a throw-in, but you get it right in the middle of the field there. So it's up to the receiving team to judge where it went out, and that's where spirit of the game comes in. Just making sure everybody's being honest.
Now the Zephyrs look to move. Errant pass there just a little too low, and a quick turnover by Mahtomedi as the Bears look to capitalize.
Just want to slow things down. They're taking their time here. Get everybody set.
A nice low throw evades the defense, dumps it back, and off to the far side. Now his play will continue for Powell once again. Powell dumps it back, and then looks across the field, and play will continue once again. Working a cup and a great defensive block down there by the Zephyrs. That's 32 Nathan Gabriel, I believe, who knocked that down. And a long huck as the man had him beat. Will it stay in bounds? He lost it, and he's not able to hold on. Well, he had him open and he had him beat, but he just could not catch up to it. And a turnover for the Mahtomedi.
Looked like Jake Dahlhoff with a little tip there in the end zone.
Now the Bears quickly back, and here's Dahlhoff looking deep as they have 2 men back to the Bears. And it's broken up nicely by Mahtomedi. I believe that's Austin Kelly, all conference in 2016. A great play to break up that long huck.
That's the danger with those long throws there. They hang in the air and get the defense gets an opportunity to get under it and swat it away.
1-0 White Bear Lake here in the early going. As we take a look on the right-hand side of our screen there, or formerly on the right-hand side of our screen, that's Casey McCloy. Volunteers here, number 13, with SCC Sports as a camera operator, and we wish him certainly the best as a nice great little diving catch there to extend the play there as John Curl got to the disc. This play will continue as here's Kruger now. Kruger, a handler, throwing it up through the center of the field. As here is Kelly now. Kelly trying to spin around one, gets it over there for Kruger now. As the Bears opt to go into man defense here. And another long play as it looks like the defense gets burned again, and Kelly pulls it down, and we're tied at 1.
That was a great little great look there. He separated from his man there, and it's tough on that man defense. You got to stay with him.
As we take a look at another here, a great throw and a great catch there. Now you talk about how he was way past his man. Is there an advantage or a way of playing that defensively if you're White Bear Lake?
You just got to make sure that you're staying with them and you know where they are. Don't let them fool you. Looked like he maybe made a little move there and fooled his defender. And the handler got quite a bit of space to make that throw too. So if I'm White Bear or if I'm head coach Curtis Kamek, I'm just telling the guys to maybe ratchet down a little bit and stay closer to their men.
Yeah, you mentioned Curtis Kamek in his first year as head coach of this varsity squad for the Bears. He has spent time as an assistant coach in the varsity, and of course, we both remember him growing up in high school and his dedication to the game of Ultimate here in White Bear Lake.
There was nobody who cared more about Ultimate, I think. He really cared about the program, and he's a good guy.
So as we get the Zephyr team, or the Mall team, off the field, we'll get ready to start this one again. Tied up at 1. Mahtomedi and White Bear Lake.
Looks like they're putting in some substitutions.
Of course, we do notice that running clock up there on the top. Again, just to keep time as far as how much time has elapsed. A maximum of 100 minutes in a given game. A new rule from what we have familiarized ourselves with playing over our careers here, David.
Back in our day, it was play to 15 or the sunset. Playground rules.
Well, the lights are bigger here than on the playground as a nice low pull from the Mahtomedi squad. It's underway as Dahlhoff quickly up to it, and the Bears can set up their defense once again. Mahtomedi playing this cup defense, which has stymied the Bears so far, as Dahlhoff once again for Powell on the near side as he looks ahead and dumps it quickly back. The best way to beat that cup, though, David, is those quick throws.
Yep, quick throws, get a lot of movement through the back, and just kind of cycle it through those back three cutters. They're not cutters, handlers, excuse me.
Looks like the Zephyrs still continuing to employ that cup as Dahlhoff finds a hole and the Bears might have motion. Onto the near side, looking for the end zone across the field. Powell is open, but they don't find him. And we have a violation here. Of course, the big part of the game here, David, is that all fouls are called on the field by the players themselves.
Yep, in high school, it's up to the players to decide to enforce the rules. It usually goes very well, I have to say. There is a pro team in Minnesota, and that league does employ referees, so it's a little bit different at this level.
Ooh. Great little defensive block there by Casey Hoffman, one of the junior captains for this Mahtomedi team. We'll take a look at it here. What a great block. Yeah, nice little play for Hoffman there as she just stuck her hand out, and the Mall can take it the other way as pinned up against that corner. They look to move it, and just a quick little pass too far for Northwood, and the Bears will be set up on the doorstep. But here's White Bear Lake now. Dahlhoff onto the near side as they look to punch it into the end zone. Powell looking again as they'll dump it once back again and reset for Dahlhoff to the corner. Jumping catch, and he's able to hold on right on the line, and the Bears will take a 2-1 lead.
Looks like Mahtomedi had switched to a man defense there, and didn't quite work out, I guess.
Oh, nice little catch there for Tony Lucio as
Goal scored by Tony Lucio.
we'll take a look, and just a great way to reset the play there, David, and get things going. So is the Mahtomedi head coach, as that's Ed LaFoy, comes out to talk with his players. Down 2-1 in this game. And of course, several players well supported here by both teams and fans. The battle for the lake in the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, this is probably twice as many fans as the most we ever got, I think.
Yeah, we talk about the game of Ultimate. Certainly has grown in White Bear Lake since the program's inception in 2005, and we'll be joined by Cody Melhorn as we take time out to... Never mind, we'll go right back into it, but we'll be joined by Conference Coordinator Cody Melhorn, a White Bear Lake graduate, sometime here during this first half of play to talk about the efforts in the conference and how Ultimate has changed here in this area, David. Certainly much different than we have seen in when we were playing here.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, they take it. They've taken it to a different level, I would say. I hear it's a varsity sport now, and you can let her in, which would have been nice when I was going through the program, because it probably would have been my only letter.
And the play can continue as the Zephyrs look to move the disc up the field. And here's Kruger now. Kruger, a low throw, dangerous throw, but it's covered up nicely there by Kelly. Kelly looking center of the field, and they found a seam the Zephyrs have. Onto the near side, a girl wearing a jacket just throws it away a little too quick behind the receiver, and that's a turnover for Mahtomedi.
Yeah, just tried to do a little too much, a little too quick.
Right decision there, David, to go with the backhand throw to try and put some space on it, but just a little bit behind the intended receiver. As another quick turnover there as Powell couldn't hold on, and the Zephyrs are set up on the doorstep this time.
Looks like those hands are getting cold.
Now, we talked about at the open the weather and how the cold certainly has had an impact. David, in your experience, how does cold play that impact on the body as you're playing?
Well, I think the biggest thing, like I said, is the hands. Oh, wow. Good D.
Ooh, miscommunication there, and a bear is down as two people went up for it, and this, as he's helped up quickly to his
Right
feet,
back up.
as Hicks and Casey McCloy, that's our employee, or our volunteer rather, quickly get him up to join here as we take a look at the injury, and he's
Just a little knee to the thigh, it looked like.
nothing to write home about, but certainly something that can feel a little bit of pain as Hicks gets the disc in his possession. Zephyrs still running the cup as it's worked quickly now onto the far side, taking their time. Now, as a thrower, is there any pressure, David, when somebody's defending you?
Yeah, the defenders get what's called a stall count.
Yeah, we'll talk about that stall count in just a minute as another point for the Bears as the Bears flood the field. It's 3-1 White Bear Lake. As Isaac Anderson gets his first goal of the game, and a beautiful one at this.
It was a great throw. Led him perfectly.
Nice high throw. Nothing the defender could do, even if he had caught up. So it's 3-1 White Bear Lake. But let's go back to talking about that stall count. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's basically the defender gets about 10 seconds to set up the cup and make sure that the handler is going to throw it. If the handler does not throw it within that 10 seconds, it's an automatic turnover.
And I believe we must have had that point called back as it was either a stall count, a travel, or some sort of a violation. So it'll be 2-1 White Bear Lake, and a turnover now. And the Zephyrs look to go the other way. Ryan, 2-1. And as we resume play on the far side, spun across now for Kruger. As Kruger looks for the center of the field, gets it up ahead for Rothweiler. Rothweiler was all-conference last season as well. Many of this Mahtomedi team, and a great catch there by Kruger to keep play going. As Kruger looking for his offense to set up. Kruger, a hammer throw to the end zone, has McCloy open, caught, and the Zephyrs have tied the game. Casey McCloy gets on the scoreboard. It's 2-2.
Nothing like a hammer point, Alex. And he's going sleeveless.
Definitely
Brave.
very bold for McCloy to make that catch there, going sleeveless. As, of course, we did talk about the weather again, 55 degrees coming in, but a great catch and just a great put from the handler there, David.
Yeah.
Well, as we'll look to get things going, once again, coaches talking. The typical things is we'll take a look once again at this hammer throw. Just a little hair over the defender, and awesome catch. And once again, the teams will vacate the field except for the 7. White Bear Lake choosing to spend their time talking with their coaches a little bit.
It's always nice to get a reset after a point, even if you give it up. Just get a breather in.
Now as we wait for play to continue again, at some point, hopefully. As Maul decides who will throw the disc. Now, David, if you're an ultimate player, an ultimate coach, what do you look for in somebody who's trying to make a pull?
Just, you know, the person who can throw it the furthest. You want to get the other team started as far back as you possibly can, and somebody who's going to pull straight and far. It's always easier said than done, I would say.
Well, nice little pull there sets the Bears up at about the 35-yard line. Comes back to Dahlhoff now on the near side as he looks for somebody. And a nice little hammer throw down the center of the field. They've had a 2-on-1 opportunity as Hicks in a miscommunication. And the Bears drop the disc, and it'll be a turnover.
He was wide open when he caught that, and they had numbers, but just couldn't connect on that little pass there.
So miscommunication for the Bears gives Mahtomedi life. And here comes Mahtomedi as they look to set up their offense. Gabriel looking on the near side. As Mahtomedi has it, they'll dump it back there, as I believe that's Cryer now for Mahtomedi. Cryer defended well. Up ahead for Powell and a turnover.
Interception by Powell there.
And here comes White Bear Lake as Powell looking for Hicks in the center of the field. Hicks, and we have a call of some kind. And Dave, you want to explain that one if you could?
You know, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Looks like maybe he was still walking when he threw the disc.
Well, nevertheless, the Bears will set up here. And
similar to traveling in basketball, you can't you get a certain amount of steps after you catch the disc, and you can't be walking or running when you throw it.
Well, here's Powell in the middle, throws it to the end zone, 2-on-1 opportunity for the Bears, and a nice little catch there. And the Bears now lead once again, 3-2, as we look for the number. That's Lucio again, his second of the game, 3-2 White Bear Lake.
You got a little air under that, but no harm, no foul.
Yeah, just a nice little throw there, 2-on-1 opportunity.
He just got up. Got up for it.
One of the more exciting plays in Ultimate, of course, the high throw when people are contesting it, or the throw that requires the player to dive for that. We haven't seen any of those tonight just as of yet, but I'm sure by the time somebody hits 15 or the clock hits zeros, that will happen inevitably, as we'll very much look forward to that one.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
As we take a look at White Bear Lake getting ready to throw, going all out tonight with the war paint, I suppose, on their face, the eye black or the eye red, creating an intimidating look here for this Mahtomedi team. And the Bears, shorts, shoes, and socks can all be all sorts of different colors, but the uniforms for the White Bear Lake, they are all in orange, as they are prone to do, with a white numbering and a white ultimate logo, as you can see there on the center of the chest. And for Mahtomedi, we talked to their coaches. They don't have regular uniforms just yet. They said that they had not come in as of yet, and hopefully they'll be ready for the state tournament here in a couple of weeks. And of course, one of the highlights, David, of the Ultimate tournaments is seeing all these unique jerseys and these unique team names that aren't necessarily in line with the high schools.
Right, that is always fun. And especially at the state tournament, it's great to meet kids from other schools. And I remember Minnetonka, I think they were the Manatee or something like that, and they had a grill and a couch at every game. It was just a lot of fun to go down there, play with them, real friendly kids.
Well, a deep throw from McCloy again. He pulls it down. 3-3 Mahtomedi, and a great run by Casey McCloy to tie the game up.
That was a nice little bit of sportsmanship there too. They McCloy gave a little high five to the defender.
That forehand flick has some great strength on it there, David. What a nice throw.
Yeah. I wish I could have thrown like that back then.
You know, we hate to go back and talk about that Minnetonka team, but I remember one year we were playing on the same team, and I think it was we were playing Minnetonka in the state tournament. I believe it was you, one of our teammates, Brian Murphy, and my brother Tom Westa ended up on a couch, and they were feeding grapes to the people after the game. It was certainly one of the more interesting memories that I have of Ultimate. And
You get stuff like that all the time in this game.
well, as we look to avoid stories such as that from here on out, and play will continue now, hopefully, as the coach is starting to get off the sideline a little more frequently. Tied at 3. Casey McCloy with 2 goals for Mahtomedi, and Lucio with 2 for White Bear Lake. As the pull from Mahtomedi lands at about the 35, and Bears have had great field position on their opening possessions of each pull, but just have nothing to show for it so far.
It's a close game, but it can change real quick.
Dahlhoff.
Just like that.
Yeah, just a little bit too low for Powell, and turnover. Mahtomedi will play with the short field.
You do want those low throws, though. They don't want to catch the wind and give the defense time to swat it down.
I certainly saw that disc wobble just a little bit, and if that throw's not straight and true, it'll wobble like that. As a high put to the corner. That's high. It's coming back. Tough to play, and great catch there by Austin Kelly in the end zone. Gives Mahtomedi their first lead of the game.
These are always tough to judge, but he made the adjustment and came down with it.
Yeah, that disc just kept arcing back, and he just reached up, had his hands ready, and made what was a great catch. Well, as the fans continue to file in here at the stadium, a nice crowd on hand to watch the Battle of the Lake here, Mahtomedi, White Bear Lake. Again, their 4th matchup in this conference championship game since the game started in 2013. We'll take a look at our social media. Hey, if you want to figure out where we're going to be, give us a like on Facebook at SCC TV, or follow us on Twitter at SCC TV Sports for all your information on our Fab 4 schools, as far as where we'll be and things coming up. Of course, unfortunately, this being our final broadcast of the 2016-17 school year. We started here way back in September, on September 1st, as the White Bear football team played host to Rosemont, and it's only fitting that we end here with a championship game between 2 of our Big 4 schools. And of course, as you can see there on our camera, we have a new press box here in White Bear Lake, a significant upgrade over the wooden press box which used to occupy it. About this new one about twice as big, with different rooms, different compartments, a isolated stairwell. I believe it'll probably be heated at some point.
Wish it were heated tonight.
That's for sure. As things continue to improve here in the White Bear Lake area for the athletic teams. And
I gotta say, this field is really nice compared to what we had here.
I believe formerly a grass field here at White Bear Stadium, but with the changing of the seasons and the varying uses of the field for lacrosse and ultimate and the Phi Ed classes, the Bears have a great little run moving here, and a great little breakup. I believe one of the Bears just got a handle on it just a bit too fast, and the Zephyrs once again have a turnover.
Yeah, I hate to go back to the weather here, but I think those hands are getting a little cold. The fingers kind of freeze up, not freeze necessarily, but they don't work so well. That's where the pancake catch comes into play. You want to get that going as often as you can.
Well, Nick Oyen with a great play there to box out the defender. Has another hammer throw right over the center of the field, contested, and it falls flat. And those hammer throws, while cool to watch and cool to do, can be dangerous and ill-advised at times.
Yeah, sometimes it seems like it's the only option to beat the cup, just get over them, but it's not necessarily the best option for your cutters. Get a little too much air under them.
Well, as the Zephyrs look to move play here, and they will continue to do so, Scott Kruger on the center of the field looking for an opening with defender Kinseth Hicks playing way back, a deep Huck down the center of the field, and great effort to run back and get there as Jake Johnson took it away. Great individual effort from Johnson to get play moving, and the Bears have a run the other way. As here's Hicks now. Hicks dumping it onto the near side there for LeGrand to the corner. Powell wide open, jumps and makes the catch, and the Bears are even with Mahtomedi at 4.
That's exactly what you're looking for, just that quick break. Get separated from the D, and Powell all alone in the end zone there.
Well, after that White Bear Lake goal to tie it up here at 4, we're pleased to be joined by Cody Melhorn, conference coordinator for the Classic Suburban Conference. Cody, how are you doing tonight?
And you know.
All right, now that we've got you on headset, we'll talk a little bit about what the game is. What are your impressions of this game here tonight?
I think it's everything we expected it to be, or the Bears expected it to be, excuse me. Close one, back and forth. The Bears haven't seen Mahtomedi, so shall be interesting.
Well, some accolades for Cody now. 2015 Coach of the Year with his White Bear Lake team before yielding to current head coach Curtis Kamek and some others and taking an advanced role up in the conference. Cody, let's talk a little bit about spirit of the game. Sure. If you had to define spirit in the game for some of our uneducated audiences or some new audiences, how would you describe it to those folks?
It's described as the kind of the integral piece of Ultimate. So we define it as the utmost respect for your opponent, because without the opponent, there's no game. So it involves sportsmanship, competitive play, but not at the risk of losing respect for the opponent and all that. So
now, of course, there's a nice catch there for Mahtomedi as they'll continue to move the disc up the field. We've seen some examples tonight where players have made some contributions, as there's a discussion about the play now, and we'll let that talk itself out. There's been some awesome shows of spirit here tonight, but how else could we see spirit of the game here on the field?
Sure. So it's it's some things you might not see actually, like a player owning up to a foul he might have been involved in on the field, or congratulating another player after a nice point, good D, something like that. So some more illustrative examples of that might be spirit circles at the end of the game, where we get in and talk about the play, how we thought the game went. So
the post-game activities were always really fun.
They get kind of creative.
I believe one of my favorite ones in our playing days was we used to play the game called Run, Scream, and Die.
Yep.
Okay.
Which one of my favorites, where you'd line up on one of the goal lines and everybody would get a big breath of air, run, and then scream as loud as you could, and whenever you stopped screaming, you fell down, and whoever went the furthest, as the Bears look to capitalize on a point. A great little catch, and the Bears will retake the lead as Ike Anderson makes it 5-4 White Bear Lake. And let's break that down, gentlemen.
You got Powell there again. He's just the playmaker. He's doing everything for the Bears tonight. The hammer toss that we were just talking about. And Anderson alone in the end zone there.
Well, we've talked about the Classic Suburban now. Again, joined by Cody Melhorn, conference coordinator for the Classic Suburban. Cody, if you could talk a little bit about the state of Ultimate, or not the state of Ultimate, the state of Minnesota High School Ultimate, and the way that things have evolved, certainly since 2005 when the White Bear Lake program began.
Yeah, it's booming, isn't it? I mean, we got, I think, upwards, we're pushing 100. I think the state tournament field will be pushing 100. It's been the last couple years they've been actually having to turn teams away from the state tournament, which is new for them. So there's two divisions. We have a D1 and a D2, and our conference has grown. We got Woodbury, and they have a couple squads, so we love it.
Well, it's a big deal every June, that first weekend of June, out at the National Sports Center out in Blaine. Hundreds upon hundreds of teams. Every soccer field is filled with some sort of ultimate. It's truly a one-of-a-kind experience, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, this year it should be a little bit bigger than years past. So I know the Bears are certainly looking forward to it. Our JV program's looking forward to it. So now it's crunch time.
Yeah, I remember when they switched over to the Sports Center out in Blaine from Polo Grounds in, where was that? Maple Plain, I think. And yeah, it's grown so much, and really fun to go out there, even if you're not playing or a fan of a team, just go out there and see what's going on.
That's quite the operation. I still think we might be the largest youth, area or hotbed in Frisbee.
And that shows at the college level too.
And nationals is what, 2 weekends from now?
Yep, something like that. Minnesota won the national championship last year too. University of Minnesota, I should say.
I think they're seeded 4th this year, so definitely a chance to repeat.
Well, the Zephyrs looking to tie this one back up here, as they will dump it back into the center of the field and then throws it inside, and once again completing the hat trick, Casey McCloy, and we are tied up once again at 5 on a beautiful feed to the center of the field, and great capitalization for them all.
Goal scored by Anton Rothweiler.
That's Anton Rothweiler. I apologize for that one. I did not get the number quite right, but for Rothweiler, all-conference. And Cody, talk a little bit about the all-conference voting process and what goes into that.
Sure. So each team is allowed to nominate 3 players from their team that they feel show, again, great spirit, high level of play on the field, off the field. They also nominate a coach for Coach of the Year and a rookie for Rookie of the Year.
And of course, as we mentioned at the start of our interview, Cody was 2015 Coach of the Year in the Classic Suburban. Of course, teams have grown by then, or the number of teams have grown since then. But of course, certainly some very deserving candidates here in this conference. And any chance you can leak the results to us before we hear them at the end of the game?
Ooh, I can leak Coach of the Year. That's what I can leak. That is, I can see him in the stands. It's Wyatt C. from Stillwater. So they've been doing big things with that program over there. So a lot of credit to him and his players.
Well, congratulations to that Stillwater program for winning Coach of the Year, and we'll certainly hear the rest of the all-conference results as this game ends here. As we'll thank Cody Milhorn for joining us, the coordinator of the Classic Suburban Conference. Cody, thanks for joining us, and we'll let you get back to your duties.
All right, thanks, gentlemen.
As we come back to this game here, tied at 5. Bears and Maul doing some great things as Rothweiler extends himself to get the block there. As Mahtomedi looks to stay chilly, as the expression is, not to go too fast, something that I remember our coaches shouted at us many times. As Kruger looks again for Rothweiler.
They're knocking on the door here. Just got to find some space.
Rothweiler in further for Kelly. As Mahtomedi right on the doorstep. Bears playing very far off, and a great little catch by Kelly, but he dropped it. It leaked through his hands, and we might get a foul call there, as I believe there was some sort of contact.
A little bit of, maybe just hit his arm there a little bit.
This would be a great angle if we can get it. Yeah, just a little bit of a push off there.
Mm-hmm.
And inside to Rothweiler, and out for the quick timeout. Mahtomedi will take the 6-5 lead. And certainly a great start and some great competition for Mahtomedi.
Pretty impressed with the movement with the handlers for Mahtomedi here.
Yeah, certainly one of the things that the White Bear Lake head coaches and assistant coaches talked to me about before the game is they're good handler throws from the Mahtomedi squad. They throw quick, they throw often, and we definitely saw that on that possession.
And they do a lot of what you call high percentage throws, so throws that they're going to be sure that are going to hit their target and make a catch and keep the disc moving.
Well, we did talk to Mahtomedi head coach Ed LaFoy before the game, and we asked him some questions, and we talked about what his offense looked like, and he talked about the consistency of this Mahtomedi team and the way that his team has evolved, and he talked about how he wanted the White Bear Lake team to have somebody else beat them. He identified somebody. He wouldn't tell us who specifically, but he said that somebody was going to be the one that would beat them, and it seems that so far they have shut that person down, whoever that person might be. And of course, LaFoy, the first-year head coach for Mahtomedi, doing a great battle here with another first-year head coach, Curtis Kamek, and his assistants, as we await the pull of this point here.
Neither of them are strangers to the game, though. Curtis has been around for a long time.
And we are finally going to get that pull, I believe, as the Bears are lined up and Mahtomedi looks to be shaping up for their pull. You know, David, this was the story of the game last year where the Bears fell out flat on the first half but then rallied in the second half as a nice line drive pull will push the Bears back to the 20-yard line, and that's where they'll start things up. But it's just a slow start for the first half for the Bears again.
A little bit unexpected. You might expect them to come out a little quicker, but Mahtomedi is playing some good D, and White Bear just isn't quite making those high percentage throws. Like I was saying, they're maybe trying a little too hard to go too deep. As I say that, they go a little deep.
Powell with a risky throw and a nice catch there by Hicks. He'll reset, and he gets it once again to Purdom. Purdom, one of the star players for this White Bear Lake team, somebody that the coaches asked us to talk about last year on the practice squad, but was able to work himself not only up to the varsity squad, but to a captaincy as well. So some great developmental play by Aaron Purdom as the Bears look to respond quickly.
I'll say that about Ultimate. It's easy to work on those fundamentals and just fine-tune them over the off-season, and make your spot on a team that you want to get onto.
Powell looking for the corner of the end zone. A great little catch as Lucille was wide open. That's 3 now for him, and we are tied once again at 6.
That's Powell again. He's the engine of this White Bear offense. He's finding the guys in the back of the end zone. It's 3, I think, that have been caught right at that end line there.
Well, as the Mahtomedi players come over and look to talk things out, as do the White Bear Lake players. An entertaining first half, an exciting first half, tied at 6. A couple players on both sides with 3 goals apiece. Lucio with 3, and our volunteer, as we've said before, Casey McCloy with 3 for Mahtomedi, as excitement abounds everywhere in Ultimate. As the clock, as you can see, continues to down once again. 100 minutes is the maximum of any game of Ultimate, as we'll take a plug for our volunteers here. Hey, we are always looking for volunteers here at SCC Community to come on out and operate some camera work. There's a nice friendly wave. If you're interested in operating cameras, soundboards, or other equipment, feel free to give Arlen Becker a call at 651-747-3821 or email Arlen at arlen@scctv.org. And you can certainly come out and participate in the game, or just like I asked my good friend David Baker here to do, to come out and call a game on the mic for us.
Yeah, pleased to be here. It's my first time up in the booth.
Yeah, definitely a little bit different than being out on the field or in the stands, as Zephyrs with a great little run here, and just a little bit too low for McCloy, as he would have had a great opportunity, and quickly back the other way, down the field. Powell and McCloy, and a great block by Rothweiler. Some great back and forth action as Rothweiler's able to pick it off.
You know, that's exciting, but as a defender, you want to swat that one down to the ground. No, you don't want to spin it back up and give him a second chance at it.
As Mahtomedi looks to capitalize off of that near miss. As here's Scott Kruger now. Kruger, All-Conference 2016, finds hole for Rothweiler and then keeps the play moving up ahead for Greenberg. And then McCloy makes a nice little catch in the center of the field for Kruger again, as there's some great movement as the Bears look to have shifted now into that cup. Onto the near side for Hoffman. Once again, Kruger.
Looks like that wind's picking up a little bit. It's going against Mahtomedi here. That'll be tough. So they're going to want to do some short throws. Not like that. You just got too much air under it and couldn't quite complete the pass there.
A high throw. That catches up with that wind, and it can stay up there a long while as another hammer throw finds White Bear Lake in the center of the field, and they'll start a run the other way.
And it's just the opposite for White Bear here. They've got the win, so they're trying to stretch it out. And, they're doing a pretty good job here, right on the line.
To the corner. What a great little throw there. And that's Jake Johnson who's able to get the point. And the Bears take a 7-6 lead.
Now this would have been halftime for us when we were playing. Played a 7, take a little break. Not so much anymore.
A nice little well-aimed pass there from the handler to the cutter Johnson, who just was able to beat his man, and that will give White Bear Lake the lead. And as the players go down for one more point, I believe it is 8, is what forces halftime here in Ultimate, which we are getting pretty close to if the Bears score on this possession. As we can see there, assistant coach Jordan Farley giving some coaching, formerly the head coach here in White Bear Lake. But of course, responsibilities shift. A volunteer-based program is Ultimate, which is why we do see those alternate logos and those alternate jerseys. Some other examples of schools. We had the Hudson Frisbees last year, the Cretin-Durham Hall Raging Safari, one of the more interesting teams to play against, and the Eastview Lightning took their name and made themselves the Zeus. Of course, a difficult team to play against there as well, but also teams like Hopkins and Edina, very skilled at what they do and difficult, very difficult to play against.
Yeah, Hopkins Hustle is always one of the top teams in the state. They start them young over there. They've got a middle school program, I believe, or they used to. Yeah, just real tough to go out there and play.
Yeah, there were a couple of times when we'd go out and play Hopkins in the junior varsity squad, and they'd be running out their 7th grade team, and those were tough matchups. Even though we had some height advantage, they just found a way to beat us.
Yeah, they're quick. They learn it early, and it's a little embarrassing, but it's a good way to start the program out.
A shot for Kelly deep, just a little too far and too high, and the Bears will look to set it up here. It's just too high for Kelly here, David.
Yeah, just a little too much air under it. Like I said, the wind's going that way, and just misjudged it a little bit, it seems.
Going back to that Hopkins Edina, those squads, they're matching up in their conference final tonight. The number 1 and number 2 ranked teams in the state will do battle in the conference final. And a great little tip there, as there's Anna Early, but I believe that is numbered wrong. But a nice little play by Mahtomedi nonetheless. Well, here's Scott Kruger, who will take it up right on the line as the Bears will look to force that line. They'll find Rothweiler in the middle of the field. Here's Rothweiler, pulls it back now for Kruger. Kruger with the forehand overthrow flick, and there's Austin Kelly, who pulls it down, and we are tied at 7. A nice little unconventional throw there, and it lets Mahtomedi tie it up.
It's a little underhand hammer there.
Yeah, typically you don't see the players throw the disc like that because of difficulties with the wind and resistance and all those kind of things, but a nice little throw with some great accuracy too.
If you get a man open enough, why not try it?
Of course, the conference championship here, 2017 Classic Suburban, Bears and Zephyrs, or Bears and Mall once again. Mahtomedi Ultimate League is what that stands for, and that's what they've known themselves since the program's existence. Of course, featuring the or a replication of the face of Darth Maul from the Star Wars series.
It's a pretty creative jersey and a name there.
And of course, shout out to the captains for getting us those different logos. Of course, you're used to seeing the Zephyr head and the Bear Paw B in those spots, but of course, different logos, different opportunities to showcase some of the great talent and artistry here in this Northeast Metro. And we see there again the record 6-0 and 4-2 respectively for Mahtomedi and White Bear Lake coming into this one, and the Zephyrs have given White Bear Lake everything they can handle, in the same way for White Bear Lake.
Yeah, nice back and forth entertaining game. I'm enjoying myself here.
Not as flashy of plays as last year, but certainly quality ultimate, as this will be the point which will send us to the half. Whoever gets state first will do that, as Powell working quickly on the far side, near side for Delhoff, and then for Purdom, swings it across. Some great movement there as LaFan tried to get it in, and now will do so as Johnson makes the catch. Johnson now for Delhoff. Delhoff around some great marking. As here's Powell now. Powell swings it for Delhoff again on the near side. And then he'll push it back. A nice little fake there by Purdom, looking for an opportunity deep. And then on the near side. Here's Powell once again for Delhoff. Looks for the center of the field and then just keeps swinging it back and trying to work it up that line. But the Mahtomedi Cup has seemed to be working, even though they don't have the wind. And just a pass too far for Kinseth Hicks, out of the reach as he dived for it. And the Zephyrs, Mahtomedi will look to move it the other way.
I like that effort out of Hicks there.
Hicks again, 4 points last year, an all-conference nod and a nomination this season as a junior. So we'll look to see what he does the rest of this game and into next season for White Bear Lake. As here's Matthew Freeman. Matthew Freeman, a Boy Scout actually, as part of Troop 89 in the Mahtomedi area. As play will continue, just a nice little diving catch.
Just two great catches right in a row there. One was behind him and a diver there.
Couple of great catches there for Mahtomedi and Kruger. As a Mahtomedi looks to capitalize. Here's Freeman now. Freeman for Kruger as they look to keep play open and moving now. Kruger up the line. Powell lost the sight of it, and there's a catch and a point, and that will send us to the half. As that's Bryce C.S. who makes the catch and sends us to the half. Just a great catch and some defensive miscues there, David.
Yeah, I wonder what Paul was looking at on that one. He seemed to have completely lost it.
And I'll take another look at it here, and yeah, just completely lost it.
Yeah, he was watching the man, not the disc. Get you every time.
Well, as the players head off to the sideline to talk about their adjustments, I believe we will head to break here. Mahtomedi Mall leading the White Bear Lake Bears 8-7 here at the half. This is your home for Zephyr and Bear Ultimate here on SEC TV.
We've all seen stories of conflict that ended with peace. We've seen stories of hunger end in abundance. We see stories of fear, despair, and poverty, but they can end with courage, hope, and love. With you. Be a part of writing a story that's greater than poverty. Learn how at worldvision.org.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you bacteria can hide in food and make you ill. Wow! But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean, separate, cook, and chill. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back, Classic Suburban Championship Zephyrs and the White Bear Lake Bears. As Mahtomedi leads here 8-7 alongside David Baker. I'm Alex Westad joining you here for what's been really, David, an exciting matchup here so far.
Yeah, really close, really back and forth. Maybe Mahtomedi is surprising some people here in the stands, but I'm looking forward to the second half. That's for sure.
Well, as Mahtomedi received the opening pull to start the second half of play, Austin Kelly, 2017 All-Conference team man, as we learned the All-Conference teams here at halftime. For Mahtomedi, we have Austin Kelly as well as Scott Kruger, and then for White Bear Lake, Kinseth Hicks, Ian Johnson, and Danny Powell earning the all-conference nods. So congratulations to those folks as we continue to keep play moving here. As on the near side, tough to tell that out of bounds line, but it is roughly that black line all the way across your screen down on the bottom is Austin Kelly looking for an opportunity. And gets it ahead for Rothweiler.
It's a good grab.
And Rothweiler now looking to keep play alive before feeding it right into the center. Austin Kelly on the scoreboard. And Mahtomedi has a 2-goal lead.
Goal scored by Austin Kelly.
Just got some separation there from his defender in the end zone.
Well, it's really been one of the stories of the game for this Mahtomedi Mall team, where we take a look at Austin Kelly there, Open A captain, 2016 All-Conference and now 2017 All-Conference. But it's really been one of the stories for the game is that the Bears just haven't had great defense down on the goal line.
They really haven't. They've been letting their marks go a little bit free, and it's just a really easy pass and catch there for the Mall on the goal line.
As we take a look at Mahtomedi head coach Ed Lafoy, they're certainly happy with his team's effort, up by 2. As we've mentioned before, this being the 4th such meeting in the 6 times the conference championship has been played out. I believe that'll be 5 times in actuality. As we take a look now once again at the matchup. So 4 times now in the past 5 seasons. As we can see, Mahtomedi with 1 win and the White Bear Lake Bears with 3 wins in that span, as the Zephyrs look to even things up here. And as we may have accidentally called Mahtomedi the Zephyrs several times here tonight, their name, of course, is the Mall. A question posed to us at the halftime, and David, we're curious about your thoughts here. Should Ultimate ever be recognized as a sport in the Minnesota State High School League? Is that something that they would consider changing the team names in order to comply with the typical school name? So, for example, the Bears and the Zephyrs for Mahtomedi.
Yeah, well, as a former player and coach, I would hope the Minnesota High School League would honor these names, but it might get a little confusing, and I would expect them to have the teams revert back to their school names, unfortunately. But that's just my opinion. I don't know, actually.
Well, as a nice throw intended for Kinseth Hicks just was out of bounds, and Mahtomedi will once again start on their own end zone, or on their own end line, rather. There's a great little kick block there, and Perham makes the save. As play will continue as White Bear Lake looks to capitalize on a great kick save and a beauty for White Bear Lake. Certainly have to roll that one back as Kinseth Hicks capitalizes. That's his first of the game, and the Bears are back within 1. But this whole play, David, starts with that great kick save.
Yeah, he kicked it right back up to himself, it looked like. That's a hard block to make, but you're always pretty pleased with yourself if you can do it. I'd like to see a replay on that one.
Now as we wait for that replay, we'll pull it back within 1 here as Mahtomedi and White Bear Lake not only rivals in Ultimate, but in lacrosse as well, and that matchup, of course, unfortunately, we were unable to broadcast as just simply didn't work out, but Mahtomedi winning the anchor back to the other side of the lake. And certainly a matchup that we'll look to see again next year in either football or hockey or probably even lacrosse when that rolls around.
Yeah, I was always wondering why they weren't in our conference, but it was fun to play them when we got to. Little bit of a rivalry.
And certainly one of the prominent rivalries in the White Bear Lake area. Of course, when we mention rivalries, we fail to, of course, to mention the Hill Murray Pioneers and the long-standing hockey rivalry there. And
sore subject with some of us.
Yes, very sore subject. And of course, that matchup being at Aldrich Arena next year, as we'll take a look once again at the great kick save.
Yeah, kicked it right back up to himself, showing why he was made captain.
Well, a great effort as Mahtomedi now looks to answer and regain a great strip there. I believe that'll get called.
Looks like he maybe hit the hand there. It's not allowed.
Well, after the strip and play will resume. A nice long throw intended for the corner. Rothweiler battling with Powell, and he just can't get it. It rang off his hands, and White Bear Lake avoids a dangerous shot there.
They're playing the wind, but again, if you get too much under that, it gives everybody a chance to get underneath it and slap it away.
Well, Rothweiler with a definite size advantage on both Powell and Lucio for White Bear Lake, but nobody came up with it, and the Bears maintain possession now as they'll look to start moving the other way, as here's Purdom. And on the way to the near side, some great disc movement, quick throws from White Bear Lake. Purdom now on the near side as a look to keep play moving, and here's Powell now. Powell looking to the opposite corner for Lucio. He's going to try and race there is Kelly, but Lucio makes the catch, and we are tied up again at 9.
It's a tough throw to make into the wind there, but he found his man. Good adjustment. And just kind of waited for it. There's that pancake catch I was talking about. Alligator catch if you want.
Now, great effort from Austin Kelly to try and run and get there to break it up, but either way, we are tied at 9. Once again, that clock running down to that 100-minute mark. We cannot play past that 100-minute mark. Hopefully there will be a victor decided before then. But as we sit right now, nine goals aside. Of course, the race to 15, as 15 will win it as long as you have a lead larger than 2.
But that's not looking guaranteed for this game. It's been very close.
Close and competitive has been the name of the game, and certainly as we look back on the sports and the games which we have called this season on SEC Sports, formerly On Location TV 19, we have had some really good contests, and we've been certainly blessed enough to watch some great games, and hopefully next season we'll be able to continue those broadcasts and to bring you all of the great matchups here of our Prime 4 teams, the Polars, the Titans, the Zephyrs, and the Bears, as this school year fades into memory, and next year we'll create new opportunities for championships and memories to be made once again.
You guys do a great job. I'm really happy to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Well, David, we're certainly happy to have you here. Some great analysis from somebody who's been around the game for a long time, and certainly valuing your opinions and your ability to tell us what's going on as the Bears will resume play. And a nice little huck here.
Trying my best here.
We'll hover right into the back of the end zone, and Kruger will play it for Mahtomedi. Here's Kruger. A nice throw up the sideline, intended for Freeman, as the catch is made there on the far side. Spinning around one man, a great little catch there as Casey Hoffman makes the catch. Hoffman keeps it up, and a nice play by Hicks to break that one up, and the Bears will look to get points off the turnover. As here's Dahlhoff now on the far side. Dahlhoff still spinning with the disc, looking to cut it open, and then finds a seam. Onto the near side for Powell. Powell tries to get it across back for Dahlhoff into the middle of the field, where Jackson can keep play moving. Dahlhoff once again, as they're inching ever closer to that goal line. Into the corner, looking up, and a great catch and a jump there, and the Bears retake the lead as Ike Anderson makes the catch there, and it's 10-9, White Bear Lake.
It was good vision from, I think that was Powell throwing it there.
And we'll take a look at it here, and
no, Kinseth maybe.
A nice little catch by Ike Anderson there too, to get up there and make sure only he had a chance at that disc there, David.
You get to get both feet in bounds, just like in football, but good awareness.
Well, what's so tough about that too is that, of course, with no officials, it's odd that the person who catches the disc has to decide whether or not they're in bounds.
Yep, really keeps you honest. Or tries to, anyway.
And I think we're going to get a timeout or a discussion here of some kind. As
no, I don't know what's happening here. Mahtomedi is at around midfield, which is pretty far away from where the play happened.
Right. Well, it looks like both teams will converge. We'll get a little stoppage in play here as coaching can continue. And must be a timeout of some kind. I believe each side gets one timeout per half, if I remember correctly, as they set up a play. Well, as we take a stoppage here, we'll advertise Sports Pass, our final broadcast of the season coming up here. We have a great opportunity here with the outgoing athletic director here at White Bear Lake, Tim Herman, and the incoming athletic director, Brian Peliquin. Of course, Herman being here for 45 years as a student and then as the athletic director as well. Certainly an interview which we're very much looking forward to, and wrapping up the sports season here in White Bear Lake and all across the North Metro. As we're certainly sad to see Tim Herman go, somebody that's affected our high school careers and everybody else. It'll air June 14th after the school year ends, but certainly tune into that one every other Wednesday at 7 p.m. on SCC Community. That will be findable on Comcast Xfinity Channel 801 in high definition, or if you like standard definition, if that's your flavor of choice, you can certainly watch that on Channel 19. Well, as we're still not 100% sure the delayed stoppage, but it looks like the goal will count. Bears will lead 10-9 here in the second half with what has been an entertaining back and forth affair. Bears have led, Mahtomedi Mall has led, and this one's far from over here, David.
Yep, still a lot to play for. Anything can happen. You could go on a 5-point run here. You just never know. And I hate to keep going back to the wind, but it really does affect things in this sport. It's dying down a little bit, so that should even things out even more, I would say. Going up or down the field won't matter as much if there's no wind.
I remember in our practices we would blame the wind, especially I remember one particularly tough game that we played at Irondale, where it was a near 20-mile-an-hour wind going one way down the field, and we would always blame the wind, and we thought that the 5-person Super Cup, as we like to call it, would be the answer to that, but unfortunately not. We did lose that game. But the wind is a factor, and certainly that it's died down, and we'll let the teams play, and the better team will show itself. As Mahtomedi will start possession here, up ahead now for Kruger. Kruger on the far side as the Bears have reverted back to their man defense. Dahlhoff playing well off, a shot high and deep. That's broken up, and Jackson's able to make their catch there, as it's Jake Johnson. And Johnson flips it ahead for Powell. Spins it across onto the near side there as Owen will catch it for White Bear Lake. Here's Owen looking up ahead for there's Johnson again. And then quickly onto the near side for Ike Anderson. A wobbly disc gathered up there nicely by Purdham, and a shot down the field for Hicks, and just a great defensive effort there for Mahtomedi's John Curley to break that play up and save what could have been a point.
Looks like Hicks could have had a second opportunity at it, but just kind of bobbled it a little bit there.
As White Bear Lake will take their time to set up on that disc, or Mahtomedi rather will take their time to set up on that disc. Great effort there by Curl to get there and block that one, as Kruger now with the disc. Kruger flips it across as there's Freeman now. Freeman with an opportunity, gets it into the center of the field for Rothweiler. As Rothweiler now throws it into the center, a great little catch there as Curley makes again some great catches, and just a little too fast for Freeman. And the Bears will set up with just a few yards to go for a point.
I don't think he was expecting a pass there.
Well, here's Purdham. Mahtomedi still hard on that cup, and then goes off to the center of the field. As it comes back now. And here's Purdham now in the center of the field. Over for Dahlhoff now. Finding it some room, and now Purdham once again. Purdham for Danny Powell. And here's Dahlhoff once again on the near side, back for Purdham, into the center of the field. And a great little catch there as Kinseth Hicks makes the play, and it's a 2-goal lead for White Bear Lake. Nice little catch there by Kinseth Hicks. We might get a conversation about it, and it looks like it'll come back, as it may have been out of bounds.
Yeah, they're disputing whether he got both feet in bounds when he caught it, when he had possession.
Well, here's Dahlhoff. They'll be right on the corner as Dahlhoff sends across for Purdom, just too far, and he can't quite get there. As it laid at his feet, but he could not quite get to it as Oyen misses the catch. And Mahtomedi will head the other way now. As here's Hoffman. Hoffman, center of the field for Rothweiler now, and then here's a player, and then gets it for Kruger again on the near side. Kruger for Rothweiler, and then play can continue now for Freeman. Freeman, again, we've mentioned, Boy Scout, Troop 89, an Eagle Scout, I believe, the most recent of the Troop 89 Eagle Scouts.
Congratulations.
As play will continue now, as here's Kelly now. Kelly looking to throw it up here. Here's Rothweiler, makes the catch, and we are tied once again at 10. As Anton Rothweiler makes the catch to pull the Mahtomedi Mall even. Just a great put and a great little catch there. Certainly highlight reel material for him there, David.
Yeah, it was quite a little run there. Lost his man, and he's got the height. He just used it to his advantage there.
Well, one thing that's really impressed me from this Mahtomedi team is the stamina that they've had on the field all night. They've done some great job of switching players in and out in order to keep play moving, and some great coaching here by Ed LaFoy to keep them fresh and keep them in this game when I know both of us didn't think that they had much of a chance coming into this one.
Yeah, it should be good to mention that you can't switch on the fly, so you're only allowed subs after a point has been scored. So, if you get a long enough point there, you tire out real quick.
That's for sure, especially considering that the Mahtomedi team has run the cup all night, one which is something that really tires you out, and the most athletic people tend to be on that cup in order to keep play moving and avoid those swings, as we've seen the White Bear Lake team been able to exploit all night long.
Yeah, you really got to move as a unit for the cup. In practice, they'll often tie it together with a rope. And
sorry, I just saw something that was way too funny out here in the stand, so I apologize for my immaturity. And we'll let play continue as Mahtomedi will look to keep things going, as here's Casey McCloy on the far side. We may hit the 100-minute mark, as there have been some considerable delays before each poll. And of course, we'll see what happens when that does reach. If it's tied, who knows? But maybe one team will be ahead, as here's Purdom now for White Bear Lake. Purdom dishing it across as they'll reset once again onto the far side there for Johnson. As they're gathering it up now is Hankey all the way up ahead, and some great movement, and the Bears appear to have found a seam before cutting it back. Purdom once again. Purdom spins it onto the near side for Oyen. Oyen again across. As Hankey now with the disc. Hankey trying to work it on the near side for Johnson. Johnson continuing to work that sideline for Danny Powell. Powell in the creamsicle version of these jerseys. Just a little bit too high, but Oyen's able to come down with it. Oyen, some great pressure on the sideline by Mahtomedi. Gets it for Purdom, and then play will continue as they work this cup all the way around. And they find a seam once again, a block, deflection, caught there, and the Bears have him on the run. And a great little catch and a run. As some defensive breakdown by Mahtomedi gives White Bear Lake the lead once again.
It's a great little sequence there. Kept it moving and stretched it down the field there.
Now we'll take a look at it once again. Looked like somebody got a hand on it, just enough.
He popped it up just enough, so he gave the White Bear player a second opportunity at it. And that's going back to what I said earlier. You wanna swat it down, not up or away. So that disc will just keep flying on you.
Well, White Bear Lake regaining the lead, 11-10. Some great offense, and we mentioned that one of the keys to the game for this Mahtomedi team was to make sure that a certain player, my belief was that it was Kinseth Hicks or Danny Powell, wouldn't beat you, and the Bears have had scoring from multiple different goal scorers each time they've been in the end zone.
They've been mixing it up, but Powell seems to have been involved on quite a few of those plays. He's really keeping the offense moving here. I would say that the White Bear Cutters maybe aren't moving enough. It's late enough in the game where they're maybe getting a little tired. Their legs are kind of wearing out on them, but maybe just a little more movement from those Cutters lead to a couple points here.
Well, for Powell, certainly some accolades for him. Second team All-State, the only sophomore on that team all year, and one of the first ones to do so. So a great talent they have here in Danny Powell, and just starting out his career. He'll have another year behind him, as much of this varsity team for White Bear Lake will have, and some good potential at the junior varsity level as well. The B team, as it formerly was known, but of course the seriousness ramped up, and the quality of the teams here, both in White Bear Lake and Mahtomedi, have definitely gotten better over the duration of their programs.
Absolutely. It's very impressive to see what they've done with this program since we left it.
Now it'll be Dahlhoff on the far side looking to make the pull for White Bear Lake, up a goal. And Dahlhoff will look to get a roll on that bounce as it rolls, stopped nicely though by Rothweiler. And Mahtomedi will look to move the disc the other way. Kelly for Kruger now in the center of the field. As here's Kruger up ahead now for Rothweiler once again, looking to feed Kruger but cannot. Center of the field. As once again, Mahtomedi up ahead now. And a great little catch and a run there, and Mahtomedi does a great job to stay chilly before avoiding a turnover. Kruger with the disc now for Maul. Kruger looking to feed Kelly, but defended well. As he'll throw it again for Rothweiler, who loses the hat but still makes the play. Rothweiler looking for that corner, just out of the reach of Kelly. Could have had a point there, but a turnover, and the White Bear Lake will get it back.
Just a little too low for him, and couldn't quite get his hands on it on the sideline there.
So White Bear Lake will take it right to the corner. A tough place to play it, right on the goal line and right on the out of bounds line. So some great opportunities, and it might just be a punt situation, but they find the center of the field, and White Bear Lake's able to.
That's exactly what you look for there, and that's not.
Well, a little bit of a hesitation throw. It looked like the disc thrower called a violation. Kruger doesn't like it, but the only thing you can do in that instance is contest and set it up again. Or on this hand, it looks like Mahtomedi will take possession. So Mahtomedi will get it on a foul in the end zone. I believe it sets up right on that goal line. And wide open is Matthew Freeman. And we are tied once again at 11.
That's where spirit of the game really comes into play there. You don't want to be unsportsmanlike, but definitely a good opportunity for Mahtomedi, and they capitalized right away.
Well, a cool opportunity as Matthew Freeman's dad, Jerry, decided to make the public address announcement on his son's goal. A cool opportunity for him, as Mahtomedi and White Bear Lake tied up at 11. Of course, the clock now down under half an hour to go in this one. Again, a race to 15 or a lead of 2, or when that clock runs out, whoever is leading, the point would play out, and that team would be the victor. As we are tied at 11, an exciting matchup here. Mahtomedi has looked every bit of the contender that we have expected them to be, or they have come in as ranked number 9 in the state of Minnesota, and for White Bear Lake coming in ranked number 11. A great matchup between two strong teams.
Yeah, looking at the history of these conference championship games, it's been a little one-sided when White Bear wins. They've gotten a few. In 2013 and 14, they won by at least 9. Mahtomedi obviously winning in 2015 there, but they're getting closer in competition, I would say.
As White Bear Lake will set up, here's Dahlhoff now, center of the field. As a mark quickly on him, gets it onto the near side for Purdom, and then quickly inside for Johnson once again. For Dahlhoff now, working to swing off to that far side. Back to Purdom, fakes off the cup. And then is able to get on the near side for Johnson. And then keep it moving, will White Bear Lake, as here's Purdom. Purdom for Johnson. And some great movement here to find holes as Johnson's able to make the recovery there. There was no communication with Kinseth Hicks, but Johnson's able to make the catch.
Yeah, you want to move fast, but not at the expense of making bad throws like that.
As Dahlhoff, a nice sliding catch there, will keep play alive. Johnson dishes it back now for Purdom.
Nothing wrong with getting set up with the cutter or the handlers in the back there and letting the rest of the team move up the field.
Well, onto the near side now. It's Johnson once again. Johnson looking for the goal, and he's got it. White Bear Lake regains the lead. It is 12-11.
Gavin LeGrand on the point there.
And LeGrand with a nice little catch there, David, and just some great movement to keep the defense off center.
Just found just enough space in the end zone. Looking at the replay here. Yeah.
Now a nice little goal to give White Bear Lake a 1-goal lead again. 12-11 now. Conference championship on the line. There's a very fancy trophy sitting into the press box to our right, which will have a winner's name engraved upon it. So we'll look forward to see who will hold on here, if Mahtomedi can stage a comeback or if White Bear Lake is able to hold on to this lead. Of course, Mahtomedi and White Bear Lake, the last two Classic Suburban Conference champions. Mahtomedi defeated White Bear Lake in 2015, 15-12, and then last year White Bear Lake defeating the Hudson Frisbees 15-11. Of course, the game has been held at this stadium every year since its inception in 2013. As we take a look at White Bear head coach Curtis Kamek in his first year, certainly has these White Bear Lake players motivated and focused on the prize at the end of this one.
Now you wonder if there's a little home field advantage for White Bear having the championship always here. Maybe mix it up the next couple of years. But
well, as we look to get play going here, a good thing to note is that White Bear Lake doesn't practice here necessarily. I believe, David, when you and I were playing, they were over at Sunrise Park Middle School, just a couple of blocks away, but now they practice on the grass fields out behind us here.
Just another example of them ramping up this program and taking it a little more seriously, which is always good to see.
Now a nice low line drive, and it's caught by Kelly and Kruger now, as Kelly has possession of the disc. Then all the way into the center of the field for Rothweiler now, trying to dump it back. But Rothweiler looks ahead for Kelly. And play can continue up the field as Kelly now. Kelly with a nice low throw for Rothweiler, looking to keep the continuation of the play moving.
Some good vision to find the guy moving there.
Well, here's Kruger once again. Kruger looking for Kelly. Has a couple of men open as he's close to the end zone. Kelly trying to work the disc off the near sideline. Kelly with a hammer throw for Rothweiler. He dives and he comes up just a little short. As Anton Rothweiler looked to have a sure point as he just missed that out of the outstretched arms.
It looked like he had to get rid of the disc there, otherwise be called for the stall count. So he made the choice to throw the hammer and didn't quite work out for him.
White Bear Lake will take possession right at the goal line. Center of the field, and a turnover pass just a little bit too far behind Nick Oyen. And once again, Mahtomedi will have the disc at the doorstep, looking to tie this one up once again.
I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe a little miscommunication or a tip on that, but it did not find its intended target.
So with room, here's Kruger. Kruger looking for Kelly once again, the go-to tandem for this Mahtomedi team. Looking for Rothweiler. He makes the catch. The hat falls off, but he has tied the game up at 12.
Kid's had a heck of a game here. He's really using that height to his advantage.
And it's a shame he was not able to hold on to that hat. If he would have, it would have been something special. But of course, first thing he goes to, he picks up the hat, gives his teammates high fives. Congratulations all around.
Get him some bobby pins. Pin that thing on there.
Some great suggestions here for things to put on to keep his hat on his head, but that's okay. You do you, Anton. You do you.
I'm liking the sleeveless look, though.
The sleeveless look is good, yeah.
Tough look on a night like this.
Yeah, imagine if there's snow out, a nice cold winter day, you're out here playing Frisbee, no sleeves. It's how real Minnesotans are made.
Yeah, we had a couple of snow games early on in the seasons.
Yes, we did.
Sometimes the snow stuck around in early April there, we'd be trudging through a little bit.
Now as Mahtomedi and White Bear Lake vacate the field once again, leaving just those magnificent 7 on the field. We await the resumation as Mahtomedi head coach Ed Lafoy continues to provide coaching to his offense. Again, we do apologize for not being able to identify that number 1 for Mahtomedi. And of course, number 1, if you are watching this, we do apologize for not knowing precisely who you are. We do have a number 1 listed on our list of players. However, we're not 100% sure that that's who it actually is.
Unless your name is Anna.
Which, you know, it could be. So, Anna, if that is you, we do apologize. But if it is not, give us a like and a follow on Facebook and Twitter, and we will make sure that we correct that for you next time. As Kruger here to pull for Mahtomedi. A nice high pull will start to settle down, and it's caught by White Bear Lake at the 25 for Hicks now on the near side. As Dahlhoff and Hicks do some give and go. Hicks now up ahead for Dahlhoff on the near side for Powell once again. Powell for Dahlhoff as the Bears continue to work the sideline. A fake hammer thrown back across center of the field for Hicks. Hicks moves it even further there for Hankey, and then for Johnson. Johnson all the way and gets it back now for Hankey. His play moves up the field even further now. As I believe now that's Tony Lucio with the disc. His play will continue to move. Lucio now gets it for Dahlhoff. Dahlhoff continues to swing for Hicks onto the near side as White Bear Lake not moving very far up the field, but they are certainly tiring out that Mahtomedi Cup. As Dahlhoff now prepares to throw, swinging once again onto the far side for LeGrand before putting it up once again for Johnson. Johnson center of the field now for Powell as they work ever closer for Dahlhoff once again. Dahlhoff for Hicks now on the near side. Some great pressure and an open man and a beautiful catch there by Ike Anderson. And the Bears will regain the lead once again, 13-12.
Looks like Mahtomedi switched to a two-man cup there, and so they could get an extra guy on the cutters. Didn't quite work out for him. It's always a risk giving the cutters or the handlers, more space, and didn't quite work out for Mahtomedi on that one.
So the Bears regain that 1-goal lead, 2 points closer to another Classic Suburban Championship. But if we've learned anything all night long, there's bound to be a response here from this Mahtomedi team.
Yeah, 80 minutes in, and people are starting to look a little tired. But that is to be expected. It's a lot of running.
A lot of running, a lot of effort, both defensively and offensively. A tiring sport, but certainly a fun one that really anybody can play as long as you have a Frisbee or access to a Frisbee, I suppose. Field, a grass, sometimes a hill. We've played on hills before, and fun for everybody. That's definitely for sure.
That's true. It is a sport for anyone. And we encourage you to check it out if you're watching this and you've never played, or you're coming up through middle school or high school. Check it out.
Well, we look to keep things going here now as coach is still talking on the White Bear side, as the assistant coach Jordan Farley now starting to walk off the field, providing some final words of encouragement.
My old A-team coach there, Jordan Farley.
As Dahlhoff now on the far side looks to get that pull and pin the Zephyrs back. A nice deep throw from Dahlhoff, gets a nice little roll and bounces at the feet of Kruger. As Kelly and Kruger will play catch with it once again. Here's Kruger now, center of the field. Not great pressure from White Bear Lake, giving him room. He'll get a call as a pick, I believe, called in the center of the field. Play will reset. And the conversation continues. Of course, we don't have each individual player mic'd up. We don't know 100% what goes on there. Of course, that would be about 50 mics.
Well, at the speed that these two programs are ramping up, I expect that in the next couple of years. Just helmet cams, or not helmet, but
GoPros.
hat cams, GoPros on the players.
A nice throw for Rothweiler. He catches it short of the end zone, looking to find McCloy in the center, but the White Bear defense able to get back quickly. McCloy looking, and just out of his hands as McCloy knocked down.
Well, he's right back up.
Right back up, as you said, David, but just a nice little throw in and out of his hands. And some physical play there by White Bear Lake as
looked unintentional.
Yeah, it looks like Mahtomedi will maintain possession, though, as Rothweiler has the disc right on the goal line. An easy situation as they'll set it back now for Hoffman. And a catch there by Kelly, and we are tied once again at 13. Austin Kelly gets the goal.
Goal scored by Austin Kelly.
And the intensity certainly ramps up.
Yeah, it's crunch time. A 2-point run here will win it, but after watching, 26 points here, I don't expect anybody to make a 2-point run. It's been really back and forth.
Well, we sit here now, clock counting down, and there's 16 minutes left in this one.
If you're a neutral observer, this is just a great game to watch.
Yeah. Which, of course, is something that we look forward to very much. Of course, one of the neat facets of Ultimate in the state of Minnesota is that they don't release a full schedule at the beginning of the season. They release 2 or 3 games, and then once you play those games, they release more games based on the results you have against those opponents. So that way you're playing people who are more at your level or somebody that you'd be more competitive with.
Yep, and that's a new feature since we've left the program, and I think it evens things out, a little more parity within, or not parity, I should say. But yeah, it's good to get similar levels of competition going instead of just getting blown out every game if your schedule comes out all at once.
Well, it certainly has led to some creative matchups as varsity teams have played JV teams and JV teams have played teams above their level because that's the quality of team that they have. But of course, within conference play now, teams are playing within them, and a great sense of pride tonight for both teams, putting on a wonderful showing here for the large amount of fans here in attendance. We had a nice crowd last year at this matchup, and we have another nice crowd here tonight. As the stands are full, we take a look there as the pull from Mahtomedi is caught by Purdom at the 23-yard line. And White Bear Lake can work it up the field. As here's Johnson now, gets it back for Purdom. Fakes it across for Dahlhoff before holding onto it himself. Now he finally gets it to Dahlhoff. Powell makes an in cut, and he'll get it onto the near side. Powell tries to work again for Dahlhoff as the Bears clog up a little bit before keeping play moving. Purdom for Dahlhoff once again working that sideline. And Dahlhoff with a hammer throw wide open, and a great defensive play by Austin Kelly to break up what could have been a goal.
That was a laser.
A beautiful throw, and Austin Kelly shuts the door.
It's one of the better throws we've seen tonight. That was it's really good, and really good defense on the Mahtomedi side as well. Get up there and smack her down.
So Mahtomedi looking for a point. The Mall after the turnover in the end zone. A nice little low throw as Mahtomedi is able to take control. Curl gets it back for Freeman. Freeman once again off of the hands, and another turnover. White Bear Lake takes control now. Here come the Bears. Powell sends it back across for Purdom. As Purdom now spins it for Dahlhoff. Dahlhoff looking for an opening. Gets in front, and there's a catch. And White Bear Lake regains the lead as Jake Johnson puts the Bears on the scoreboard again.
You're right on the edge of another championship here. One more point will do it.
Well, a nice little throw right in through traffic, and great job there by Johnson to hold on to that one, huh, David?
Really good. I looked like he got it knocked out of his hands there, but he just kind of turned and kept it away from the defender and got the point.
So 14-13 championship point for White Bear Lake if they can hold on to this one. Or if Mahtomedi scores, they will force extra points. Of course, you must lead by 2 in order to come on with a win. Or, of course, if they stall for 12 minutes, a real possibility. It would not be great spirit of the game, as we have talked about frequently. Again, thanks to Cody Melhorn, the conference coordinator, for joining us here for an interview back in the first half. And of course, if you'd like to rewatch that interview, you are welcome to find us on YouTube at Suburban Community Channels to rewatch this one when it goes live. Of course, you could subscribe to us on YouTube as well and get the notification and be that first viewer, of course. Rumor has it is that if you are a first viewer on a YouTube video, you can comment first, and everybody will just shower you with adoration. As play looks to resume here. And we will look for the Bears to make that championship point. I wanted to comment something back on that guy, but I decided, as Jordan Farley once again comes out to talk with his players, defensive strategy, as an unfortunate turnover could mean the difference in this game for Mahtomedi here, David.
That's true. You want to make sure you know what you're doing and don't make any mistakes. It's easier said than done, obviously. And legs are tired, hands are cold, but you got a championship on the line here, so it's time to bear down.
Dahlhoff's pull angles again, and it will roll, stop nicely by Rothweiler, and Mahtomedi will look to have an answer and tie this one back up. As here's Kruger now. Kruger feeds it for Kelly in the center of the field. Kelly, as the marking from White Bear's gotten closer for Kruger once again through the middle, and it's going to be high for Rothweiler if he can get there. And he dives, and he's just a little bit too far back. A nice little dive by Anton Rothweiler, just out of his reach.
It was a great effort, good layout. Just couldn't get those long arms out there. Yeah. It's a little too far for him, but I applaud the effort. It's not easy to do, especially on turf.
So this will set White Bear Lake up on their own goal line. 10 minutes to go, leading 14-13. As they'll look to capitalize this with a championship point. Onto the near side now for Oyen. Oyen tries to feed it again for Dahlhoff through the middle. And Johnson now once again. Johnson for Dahlhoff. As Dahlhoff fakes the hammer. He looks to create some movement. Up ahead now for LeGrand. And then it's controlled by Hicks on the near far side. Looking for the game winner is White Bear Lake. As it comes once again on the far side now for LeGrand. Onto the near side. And back into the center of the field now is White Bear Lake working well as Mahtomedi's Cup tries to play defense again, but they find a seam. Dahlhoff right in the center of the field.
Those good short throws I was talking about. That's what you want. Try not to make a mistake.
Dahlhoff once again playing catch with Johnson to try to move the disc up. Comes on back now all the way for LeGrand. LeGrand for Powell now. Powell back to LeGrand. And then for Oyen now on the near side as they appear to be moving left to right and not up and down. As here's Ike Anderson now back for Oyen. And once again swung out to the far side, almost handcuffed Dahlhoff. Center of the field, the Bears have movement now. Johnson looking for the corner of the end zone. The point, and the Bears are your Classic Suburban champions for 2017 on a capitalizing point. 15-13, White Bear Lake.
It was a good sequence of events that led to that point there. A lot of good possession, good throws there for White Bear.
Well, it's finally updated on the scoreboard. The Bears with 4 conference championships in the last 5 years now. Great effort from White Bear Lake tonight and a great effort by Mahtomedi now. in what was a fantastic matchup to watch here tonight, David.
It really was. I'm glad I got to come out for this one. Bears get the winner. So it was just, I mean, if you're a neutral observer, that was everything you want in an ultimate game.
Well, thanks, David, for joining us in the booth here tonight for this Classic Suburban Championship. I'm going to run down to grab an interview with some White Bear Lake players. This is your home for White Bear Lake and Mahtomedi Ultimate. Your final tonight, White Bear Lake wins the Classic Suburban Championship 15-13 over Mahtomedi. We'll be back with you next season, back in the fall for football here on SCC Sports.
Thanks for having me.
Back here at White Bear Lake Stadium, the White Bear Lake Bears with their 4th conference championship in the past 5 seasons. I'm here with the three captains of that team, beating Mahtomedi 15-13. I'm here with Danny Powell, Aaron Purdom, and Jake Dalhoff. Boys, a couple of questions for you. First, we talk about spirit of the game. It's been a major point of our broadcast. Would you talk about the spirit that you've seen here from Mahtomedi tonight?
I thought it was great spirit. There were some calls, but we all kept calm. No one was getting heated. I thought it was a great game. One of our best spirit games. I love this year.
Yeah, spirit's definitely one of the bigger parts of the game, and just to have that whole spirit thing in the game and see how it played out, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of teams, their spirit sometimes lacks and doesn't make the game as fun, but Mahtomedi was not one of those.
Now, during the course of the game, you guys responded from several 1-goal, 2-goal deficits. What was the conversation from your coaches, Coach Kamek, Coach Farley, about responding to what the Mahtomedi team was offering for you?
So a lot of it was just play our game. We're a give-and-go team. We don't have a lot of the deep throws. We have to stay patient and just take deep breaths and play our game.
Yeah, basically what he told us and what we went over in the huddles and stuff was just stick to the fundamental stuff and go from there. Just play 100% the whole time.
Just keep fighting, don't give up, keep executing once we got turns on defense, and just keep playing our game.
And the last question for you guys. You have a lot of tournaments coming up, the Gepke Memorial Tournament in Lakeville this weekend, and then the state tournament the first weekend in June. What are your expectations going into those tournaments?
I expect to be very tired along with everyone else, but I'm guessing we'll do pretty well. I'm hoping that we rank higher than what we're seeded and play hard.
Rank hard. Obviously, we want to compete for the championship title. That'd be a great accomplishment for our program, and just breaking our seed and just playing and having fun.
I'm hoping that we can carry this momentum from this game into the tournament this weekend and the rest of our games and state championship as well.
All right, well, thank you once again for joining me here. Again, the Bears victorious tonight by a final 15-13 Classic Suburban champions for 2017. This is your home for White Bear and Mahtomedi Ultimate on SCC Sports, and we'll see you in the fall.